could introduce yourself, and then maybe if you had any thoughts on some of the stuff we had covered to that point, and then Moran, if you could talk on that.
Hey, so I'm gonna say that I've been here for a long time, since the beginning of UFO Twitter, way before that. I've pretty much been into the topic since I was a teenager, so I have a good 20, 25 years into this. I was here at the onset and I saw how it developed and how it played out. Everybody was pretty cool with each other in the beginning. You started to see some pushback and some debate, which is healthy, especially given the topic. It's healthy to have debate in any topic, especially this one. Um, Once it got to the point of people being doxxed, and I think one of the first people that I saw that was really brought down was Deep. I saw him brought down in a way that I saw this young guy who was out there trying to do what he can to benefit the topic, to contribute to it. And then I saw this pile on of like 6 or 7 people, right? It only grew with time. Those 6 or 7 people that piled onto him grew the next couple of years. And the core of the people who started on Deep are the same people who are doing these vicious takedowns of anybody who says anything to question what's going on. Like, there is no civil discord in this space. There is not a safe space for us to be able to ask, hey, is this really going on? This is like, the old
Like literally
school.
not safe. Like people's
No,
houses,
no, it's not.
jobs.
Well, the old school mentality was question everyone and question everything. Eventually, once you saw CIA operatives, government operatives, you saw them slowly like coming into the space, that's when it was no longer safe. That's when, and I don't think it's necessarily coming from them. I see a bunch of what I see right now. There may be some of that mixed in, but I see a lot of both fanboy mentality where people who actually are, mentally unstable and they really need to attach themselves to something to feel valuable. And you see the people who are backing them saying, hey, you're doing right, you're doing good, you are promoting something, you're going to be something by pushing this. And those people who are mentally unstable are the ones who are going after everybody in the community. So it's a little bit of both. It's not like it's direct, it's almost indirect harassment, if that makes sense. And
No, totally.
I've reported on this and I've like showed this before over and over again. Like, most of the people that are employed by the United States government to do these types of operations, they're like third party contractors. So they're not actually working with the government. They're like a contractor who, hey, this is your job. This is what you do. Here's your task. You go do it. And they recruit these people who are just batshit fucking crazy, who will go and who will like show up at your house because they are mentally unstable. You recruit these people who are mentally unstable and they will carry out whatever operation you ask them as long as they feel like they're fulfilling a need. Okay, so let's put that aside and let's put the point where Luis Elizondo is observing everything that's going on. Nothing in UFO Twitter is out of his view. Okay. The fact that he has not addressed this is no, it's not just him, but he is the big one. The fact that he's the person that a lot of these people are doing it in his name, that's a big issue. And he's a counterintelligence agent, and he has even said multiple times that I was put into the UFO community to carry this task out, and he is doing it flawlessly. And the fact that he is not coming out to defend all of these people who are being victimized on his behalf is a little bit concerning to me.
It is concerning. And just before we get
Couldn't
to
agree
you,
more.
Moran, let's get to Deep. Yes, and Deep, I love you, girl. We've been like talking online for a while, and I just want to say I'm sorry because I didn't even realize that you got taken down in this way. Because I think you were one of the really early ones. So yeah, I want to say I'm sorry about that. But let's hear from you, bro. How are you? How was that experience? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no worries, RPK. And of course, always appreciate your work and your videos. In the early days, I think your videos unified a lot of us, right? Like whether you were skeptical or pro believer. So, yeah, thank you for all that good work, and appreciate all the sort of comments you made there, Jess. And I remember like you were one of the few people. Same with Tupa, just standing up for me during these like slander attacks. So, I got into this space. I tweeted about UFOs first around the end of 2018, risked my entire scientific reputation, career, so on and so forth, to talk about this subject. And for like the first year and a half, things were like rosy, right? Maybe even almost 2 years, where like, it was just like a beautiful sort of, we're getting to the truth, right? We're all a big community and like we're all a big family, and things truly were like that. Like things were quite wholesome, and I think things became very, very twisted, very dark around the summer of 2020, at least for me. So, I think some of you guys might have seen some of my massive threads. I think this might be what you're talking about, Jess, where I was like, I will always be on the side of the truth. I'm not like bought by anyone. I will always like, just stand up for what I think is correct. So, I would show skepticism and so on and so forth. And something strange happened, right? So, by the summer 2020, I started getting these sort of hints and indirect threats from some people. Some of those individuals are actually in this Twitter Spaces right now, so hello. And they mentioned that I'm about to get taken down, and I didn't understand what that meant. They were like, they're working on some sort of takedown of you. I'm not going to tell you anything. Just know that we're not friends anymore. And I was like, okay, this is a bit weird. One of those people was I Want to Know, UK, right? He was like the worst offender. And so, I was just like shocked a little bit about what ended up going down during the summer 2020. And keep in mind, right, like I'm in the middle of, raising millions of dollars while all this is happening. So I had enough stress on my mind, anyways. But, I ended up waking up one day to this mega thread. And it was a mega thread launched by I Want to Know UK. In that thread, this guy basically tried to not only go after me but my family. He looked at my father's business, for example, went on his website, archived Wayback Machine, made up lies, literally reached out to somebody I'd sent a cease and desist to. I have no idea how he found this individual. It was yeah, just like I was shocked at like both the level of slander and misinformation this individual was spreading, and the level of like research. So it was basically like extremely intelligent, right? Slander defamation campaign that had been launched on me, and a couple people had been working together to do this.
Yeah, I
Now,
want to highlight real quick. That's important to note because like it seemed like there was already like a straight up mechanism in place. Like they already had a phrase "take down." Is that even a Scientology term or something like that? I can't be your friend anymore because this is going to happen to you. Like there's a process. You know what I mean? It's not just some random people doing. You know what I mean? And like or another running thing, they went after your family. They went after all this other
Bro,
stuff. Lies
I'm getting
about you.
chills. I'm getting chills listening to this because of how
because you're going through it right
down
now, right?
dude, down to the warning. There's going to be something you're going to have a very
Yeah, it's
bad
messed
week
up.
coming up, down to the warning,
The
the build
menace
up,
tweet.
the
Yeah.
execution.
I mean, I can
Bro,
tell you what I heard back then.
Yes, please.
I can heard like this probably good for you guys to hear. I heard, oh, deep sea opposition. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's coming in. He's making lies. We're gonna take him down. we're going to, like, he's lying about this, he's lying about that. We got him. Don't worry about it. We're going to take him down. And those same people to this very day are the same people who are carrying out everything that you guys are experiencing.
Damn.
Absolutely, they haven't gone away. Yeah, absolutely, Jess. There is clearly a process, and it seems like they will pick and choose, right? They'll coordinate with each other, they'll pick a target,
That's
and they'll
actually my
go
question.
after you.
Is there anything that you could think in hindsight, like what was the tipping point? So, like for UCR, it was asking that question. What do you? Is there anything that you could think of that happened around? Or were you getting asked about people? Or
It's a good question. I racked my brain so many times, right, trying to figure out what went wrong, like what could have gone down for this to happen. And I think part of it is like, this might just be me being too optimistic. I felt like, there was just too many expectations, laid on me to be like pro, let's say, um, I don't want to say TTSA, but just like pro UFO disclosure to the point that there was an expectation I felt unrealistic that I was supposed to just turn a blind eye to anything that seems skeptical, right, or sketchy, not just related to them, but just generally, anyone who was. The problem is that the people we're talking about are hardcore UFO cultists, right? Like you say anything negative or critical, and I was saying critical stuff all the time. Like it's not like I'd really try to follow that. You know, I'm always optimistic, but like I said, I will call shit out if I see that something's wrong.
yeah, and it's
I
important to
still
note you're
think.
never an asshole about anything. I've only ever seen you be nice, like ever. So it's like it's not like you're yeah, you know.
Thank you, man. Yeah, no, absolutely. In fact, I will only be a dick if I'm, attacked, right? And so they're actually the only thing, right? The only thing that I can think of, like to be very pedantic, very serious here, is my UAPX involvement. So that was the domino that knocked down all the dominoes. So just before, here's the story, right? So like, when I was part of UAPX, and keep in mind, guys, I was one of the first 12 people at UAPX. I was there when Lou Elizondo was still listed. And by the way, just for so everyone knows my stance, I still haven't. I'm disappointed that Lou doesn't call out idiots like KMF and all this crazy shit that's going on. I think that makes him look bad. I think that that will end up working against him in the future. I have texted Lou. I've told him about KMF. He still doesn't unfollow him. That bugs me, and I'm
Look, can I
sure
make a
they're
comment
aware of
here?
that.
Um,
Um,
on so when KMF, this is a little sidebar, but just to that point of Lou knows about KMF. When all the shit was going on with Tupa, and it wasn't just Tupa, everyone, mind you, right? If you hate Tupa for being racist, it was anybody who was in his space too, like old people, single mothers, like all these people were just getting bombarded by this same mechanism of like 8 to like 20 people on their stock accounts just harassing you all day nonstop. Um, anyways, the group held a space with Shannon Scott. So he followed King Milkfire, right? That's an important point. He followed him in January. The group held a space with Shannon Scott, he claims is his close personal friend. They text every day, he said. And we told him all about King Milkfire, everything he's been doing. He said, okay, I'll get back. I'll tell Lou about this. He requested an archive be made. And then the next day, Shannon Scott retweeted King Milkfire a meme that he had made about Lou and said that he had showed Lou. So it was just kind of a very weird display following, like immediately following a big old like a bunch of people telling like all this horrible shit that they had done to him. But yes, Deep. Let's continue with you.
Right. Yeah, it is strange, and like, look, like you're not the only one who's noticed that, right? Which hopefully makes you feel a bit better, RPK. Like I've had conversations with some like really influential UFO people who aren't going to say shit publicly, but absolutely find it disturbing that Lou Elizondo still follows KMF. Like, it does make sense, right? So, um, that is the
Hey,
only
Deep.
thing. Yeah, go for
It
it.
do, man, that's exactly where you're missing the thread, my friend. It absolutely makes sense.
I mean, yeah, we'll get to that, right? Like, I don't want to look personally. I don't want to until I have absolute definitive evidence, right, or something. I don't want to say that we should distrust Lou or trust Lou completely. I think, as with any other human and individual, he's a complex human being. Um, but that being said, going back to the UAPX story, right? So, And by the way, like I also don't see anything wrong with having alt accounts and so on and so forth, because I see it in the AI community and tech community a lot, right? So like alt accounts are a necessity in the AI community. Most of my friends who are really influential people, they all have pseudos, and the reason why is because there's a lot of danger, right? Like your life can actually be threatened by people who are like anti-AI and fanatical, basically about stopping it. So you don't want your name out there, and so on and so forth. So I totally understand, and sometimes you need a place to vent, right? Like I'm sometimes tempted to create an alt. I don't actually have one. I do have, but like I can totally see the appeal. That being said, though, so like just to answer your question, RBK, about like what was it that like the only thing that I can think about that triggered it was the UAPX event. So basically, I caught wind that a certain organization that was affiliated with UAPX,
Can you maybe tell
somebody
people what
who's
UPX is real quick too?
Oh yeah, so UAPX was this like nonprofit created by Kevin Day, and the idea was to like go to Catalina Islands and do an expedition, where we would like rent out a boat, put in a bunch of like sensors on the boat, and look for this
Kevin Day is a
aircraft.
NIMS witness too, just so people if they didn't know.
Yes, yeah, Kevin Day was the radar operator on the I think Princeton, not Nimitz per se, if I recall correctly. Um, and by the way, Kevin Day is a freaking great guy. Like that dude is a stand-up human being. So I have all the love for him. That dude is not sus whatsoever, in my opinion. Um, Now, UAPX quickly started blowing up. There was people, affiliations, partnerships, all like we quickly got infiltrated. I will just say that. It stopped being like this small little circle very quickly, got very diluted. And one of these partners that UAPX brought on, I was told, and got caught wind by somebody who's known for science, let's say. They were mentioning and shit talking this individual and saying, so and so of this organization that just partnered with UAPX is actively choosing not to work with scientists who are experiencers, because they believe that they're too biased and their opinion doesn't matter in researching and studying UAPs. As a scientist and experiencer, I felt some kind of way hearing that. And I was like, dude, like, I was like to myself, I was like, man, like, I really helped, like, in the early days getting this off the ground. And now, like, we're working with people who are against, like, scientific experiencers. Personally, I think that scientists who are experiencers have an edge on studying this topic. You can, you have a lot more data to refer to, even if anecdotal, quote unquote. And so I decided to speak out internally first in the UAPX channels, and then externally as well. I tweeted some stuff, and immediately, dude, like certain people within UAPX turned on me instantly. That was the domino that like started all these other dominoes. I got kicked out of UAPX, removed, if you will, by Gary Verhulst under a total immediately, right, like less than a day type deal. And after that, holy crap! The attacks started coming, right? So like within about a week or 2 weeks of that, I Want to Know UK launches his character attack and defamation, campaign against me, and people that I thought were my friends had my back. Turned out they were working with him this whole fucking time to take me down. Like they were trying to get all these data points and so on and so forth.
See, that's an
Build
important
this
point we
like
want to highlight. There's people acting like they're your friends on here, specifically to get data on you to use against you.
it's really convoluted. Yeah,
And
it's really
this was what
convoluted.
year was this again, Deep? This how many years before
20
the?
this Yeah, this was 2020, summer 2020.
See, so this is the
Hey,
same
hey,
thing now.
guys, I just want to add something. I want to be fully transparent. I represent UAPX with their media, so I just want to be fully transparent with
Something
everybody
else I want
here.
to highlight too. They get previous people to go in on the next one, and it's like a divide and conquer tactic. And I'm not saying this isn't any shame towards UAPX or anything. Like I support what they're doing, and you know what I mean. But something important to note that like we've seen it happen. We saw UCR Lou award Tupa the one meme award, like being what I mean. It's a divide and conquer tactic. But yeah, Deep, and then maybe Jess has some thoughts on this specific time period, guys. That's what we're trying to do with the hands.
Yeah, absolutely, RPK. So yeah, it was summer 2020, and like candidly, this was the darkest period of my life. Like, I had, I thought I was part of this community. I thought the community had my back, and suddenly, people that I truly trusted turned out to be absolute utter snakes who were out to destroy my life. It was the worst time period of my life easily, and just so disappointing, so heartbreaking and distressing and so on and so forth. So
Deep,
yeah,
but UAPX didn't have a hand in doing that, correct? Like
that's no, that's well, we'll talk about that, Alex. I don't want to turn this into a UAPX conversation. My point is that me going against a certain people within UAPX is what started all this. That's obvious.
And I didn't see since then, like
well,
UAPX is outside of that group. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I will say that I'm kind of thinking of who it might have been, and I think they're no longer part of UAPX now.
I think that's correct. I'll verify with you, but yeah, I do believe you're right.
So it was an individual or a set of
Set
individuals
of individuals, indeed.
within an organization, not the organization itself.
No, it was in fact it was a set of individuals. The people I spoke out against were partnered with UAPX. They weren't actually directly a part of UAPX, right? I do want to clarify that.
Yeah,
And then
because I'll say Gary Voorhis, Kevin Day, Matthew Shadagis are incapable of being that type of person where they will attack you online. That's not what they do.
and Deep,
Yeah,
Oh yes,
Kevin
totally.
Day's
I
a
mean, look,
sweetheart,
I've
dude.
known Matthew Sedagus and Kevin Knust for years and years. They're homies. I've yeah, nothing against them.
Deep, I want to ask you, what do you think, that was ego or was it more nefarious?
So the UAPX stuff, that was more like, it was a combination, right? Like by me publicly speaking out against certain things, I realized that I was throwing a wrench into a bigger picture that I did not realize I had walked into. That's all I'll say about that for the time being. But now, like, the crazy part, right? And this is why I joined the space about Moron Learner, is I found out this year, actually, a couple months ago. God bless his soul. He's an awesome person. Mark from I guess UFO Reddit, like the UFO Reddit Discord or whatever, he reached out and basically showed me screenshots where Moran Lerner was goading I Want to Know UK into taking me down. It was crazy. These are screenshots from exactly around the time
so
that
that
I
is very interesting, and I hope you stick around for this long ass, probably 5 hour space, because that is like insane. Because there might even be a different read that you could have on that with the names you've mentioned. You know what I mean? So just
yeah,
tell us like now
I'd
how
love
you
to
met,
know
or
how I met Moran. You mean?
oh, yeah, my bad, how you met Moran, and then maybe have Jess come in and talk about how